Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. In today's video, we are diving into something really exciting, that is Genspark AI. Now, Genspark is a powerful tool designed to supercharge your productivity and creativity. It essentially is an AI assistant with few key differences. Now, unlike the traditional AI tools, Genspark focuses on helping you not just with information retrieval, but with actively creating and completing tasks. Now, in our previous videos, we have already seen a lot of AI tools where there are, say, workspaces, there are again spaces where we can create content, but this is different. Think of Genspark as a virtual collaborator or an extended arm that is capable of generating ideas, writing content, and even managing your schedule. So let's quickly dive into it. Now, when we first log into Genspark, it looks something like this, wherein it has a chat box and it has all of their AI agents listed over here. Now, one of the most interesting thing is it is not just limited to creating of slides or images, but it goes beyond that in terms of fact checking, in terms of deep research, in terms of even working on sheets or documents. So we'll quickly see different examples of how this can be helpful for founders, sales professionals, marketing or content writers as well. So what I did first was I went and checked out their AI slides or the slides or presentation generation agent. And what I did is I just gave it a very basic prompt that create a sales proposal for recruitment services. Now my idea over here is that, say if I am a founder of a HR services or HR consulting company, and if I'm selling recruitment services and I need to build a deck, so I might have to start from scratch. But why not take the help of this AI agent to do that for me? So as you can see, what it did immediately after the prompt is it defined different phases of creating it. The first phase is in terms of understanding the audience, the context of building the presentation. To do that, what it did is it analyzed certain market insights and asked me a question that who is this built for? So it took an understanding of the audience from me, that am I targeting HR directors, talent acquisition leaders, C-suite executives, who is it that I'm targeting? And it asked me further questions as well, like for which sector, what type of hiring are you doing? Is it tech, non-tech? So these are very relevant questions that, often when we are using, say, any other AI chat platform, it misses out on. But this platform has taken that into consideration. And finally, it has defined those parameters as inputs. As next phase, what it did is it took into consideration the messaging part of it and started building a narrative. Finally, once that entire narrative, once say for example it had defined that slide wise what content needs to be there, it checked with me that whether this is appropriate, whether I want to make any changes or not. And finally it started designing the entire presentation. So on the right hand side over here, as you can see, it has coded that entire presentation right from every single element. And finally I can preview it over here. Now the interesting thing over here that I would want you guys to focus on is the depth at which the design was made. If you can see, it looks like a genuine presentation with depth. There are stats that are represented really well. There are graphical representation that gives more visual appeal. At the same time, the entire flow is in such a way that as a person or as a prospect, I get complete clarity as to, okay, what are the offerings of this HR tech company or of the HR consulting company. Now, many of the times when we use presentation makers or AI presentation tools, we see that the most difficult part for it is to do the edits, because these are all say hard-coded elements or certain changes can only be done by using AI prompt. So that's exactly what it does. It gives an AI edit option, but beyond that, it even helps in terms of doing advanced edits. Now, before moving into the edits part, what it also does is fact checks every single content. So if you feel that no, yeah, this particular content or the stat seems incorrect, you can always fact check it over here to see whether that is as per the current trends or not. Finally, moving into the advanced edit, it opens a editor. There's something like a Google slide when in every single element that we want to change, we can do. We can edit the text over here. If I want to remove this, I can remove that. If I want to move this entire element, change something completely on the slide, I can do exactly that using this editor. So this is how robust it has built its AI presentation or AI slides tool. Moving on, we also wanted to test out its workflow automation capabilities. So what we did over here is we asked it to create a YouTube channel analysis report. And we had a manual trigger that every day at say 8 a.m. we want this report to be sent to us. So we define basic steps, that is say crawling the channel videos, researching the background of that particular channel, analyzing the performance, and then finally giving us that report. So I'll just show you step by step what all did it do. So first thing, when it came to crawling or scraping the data of that particular channel, it did different search. Now the most interesting feature over here is its AI parallel search, wherein on one end say it searches specific keywords, on the other it searches on another AI platform for the same thing to have a more extensive data collection in place. So finally it got all of those data, and when it came to researching the channel background, what it did is again saw that okay, what are the channel descriptions, who is the key person who's speaking, and finally got its data. Like over here, so for example, on our channel we have the CEO and the CBO's profiles mentioned. It got that and it has highlighted that right here. Finally, it did the performance by getting key inputs like what are the top performing videos, what are their views, and everything. And finally, as you can see, it generated that entire analysis, giving us a complete robust report over here, wherein it's taking the overview, description, the entire analytics video wise, that okay, these are the top performing videos, the duration, the age. At the same time, it has even told us in terms of category that what video is working out, what not. It has given a competitor analysis to us. This is how interesting and how in-depth this research or rather this analysis report is created. Finally, moving on to one of the use cases that I as a salesperson found very interesting is the AI sheets, wherein what I did is I simply asked it that this is a particular sheet that is say for example, I have a LinkedIn connections tab. So I gather the data of my prospects and I have it on a Excel file. What I did is I inputted that particular Excel file over here, as you can see, and I wanted to run different campaigns for different classes of designation. Like if I have a CXO or a C-level executive, I want to run a different campaign. If it's a VP director, a different campaign, and for managers, a different campaign. So if I manually sit and do that classification, it's going to take me a lot of time. So what I did is I gave it a prompt to do that classification for me. And as you can see on the right hand side, there's a complete Excel type editor over here that I can use to edit every single cell that is there. And the AI agent, what it did initially is it first analyzed the data. So it analyzed what the data set was about. It saw that, okay, there is a designation column in which the designations are mentioned. And it classified different sections or different levels of hierarchy as per certain keywords. Finally, it created a classification column wherein it has inputted a complete formula wherein this particular designation gets checked across all of those keywords to finally give me that classification. So I can then export this and replicate this across all of my data files. So this is how robust this particular tool is built in terms of working across platforms, be it documents, be it Excel, be it slides, or even deep research using AI chat. So this was about it. This was about how Genspark is actually changing the way we use AI virtual assistants or AI collaborators. And if you found this interesting, please do try this out. And thank you so much for watching this video. We'll see you in the next videos with more such tools.